Israel que se gradúan esta noche, que lo que han oído no se olviden, lo que han recibido edifiquen una vida para glorificarte y exaltarte a ti, Señor. Gracias por el privilegio que tú nos has dado de tener una partecita en su vida, y gracias por los excelentes jóvenes que son. Bendice ahora el resto de esta graduación, en el precioso nombre de Cristo te lo pedimos. Amén. Gracias, pueden regresar. Ahora le voy a pedir a la hermana Ida y a la hermana Susana si pasan a la plataforma, por favor.
A continuación tendremos un especial de música por el estudiante Israel Cerrato.
Me why I believe like I do, why I'm so convinced that the Bible is true. I'm here to tell you it's only because I've come through enough to see what faith does. Faith sees the invisible, believes the impossible, receives the incredible, no matter what was. Faith moves the unmovable, proves the unprovable for anyone willing to trust. Believe and you'll see what faith does. If there's a mountain that stands in your way, from all you can see it will be there to stay. God said with the faith of a small mustard seed, that mountain will move. Believe and you'll see. Faith sees the invisible, believes the impossible, receives the incredible, no matter what was. Faith moves the unmovable, proves the unprovable for anyone willing to trust. Believe and you'll see that faith sees the invisible, believes the impossible, receives the incredible, no matter what was. Faith moves the unmovable, proves the unprovable for anyone willing to trust. Believe and you'll see that faith moves the unmovable, proves the unprovable for anyone willing to trust. Believe and you'll see what faith does.
A continuación comenzaremos the award ceremony primero. En este momento comenzaremos con reconocimientos anuales otorgados por la escuela a los estudiantes de high school que sobresalieron en las diferentes categorías. La primera categoría es Perfect Attendance. Los estudiantes que obtienen este reconocimiento llegaron a tiempo cada día a la escuela y no faltaron ni un solo día a clases. En esta categoría, solamente de los estudiantes de high school, tenemos a una estudiante, Jocelyn Tejada. la siguiente categoría, Citizenship Award, se otorga este conocimiento a los estudiantes que han demostrado una conducta y responsabilidad académica sobresaliente, obteniendo menos de 5 deméritos en todo el transcurso del año escolar. En esta categoría tenemos los siguientes estudiantes: Samantha León, Jocelyn Tejada, Damaris Cerrato, Karen Rueda, Mariana Ramírez, Xochitl Calderón, Rebeca Cerón, Israel Cerrato, Citlali Rangel, Nuestra siguiente categoría es Be Honor Roll. En esta categoría se encuentran los estudiantes que han mantenido un promedio constante entre 85 y 90 de calificaciones durante todo el transcurso escolar. Los estudiantes en esta categoría son Rebeca Cerón, César Lorenzo, Karen Rueda, y créanme, en este currículum no es tan fácil obtener esas calificaciones. El siguiente estudiante, Israel Cerrato. Y nuestra última estudiante en esta categoría, Jocelyn Tejada. Todavía tenemos una más estudiante, discúlpeme, Damaris Cerrato. Ok, en nuestra última categoría se titula Outstanding Grade Point Average Award, más conocido como el GPA. El GPA es el promedio en el cual el estudiante ha obtenido en todas sus clases durante todos sus años en high school. Es el máximo nivel que puede ser alcanzado en este nivel, es el número 4.0. En nuestra escuela, este reconocimiento solamente se le entrega a los estudiantes de noveno a 11º grado que mantuvieron un promedio entre 3 y 4 como promedio final. En esta categoría solamente tenemos un estudiante, Damaris Cerrato. A continuación, eso es todo por los awards de esta noche. Ahora a continuación tenemos un especial de música por los estudiantes Rebeca Cerón e Israel Cerrato.
There is pain in this life. We've all seen our share of tears.
But I choose to live on the positive side.
And I won't be held hostage by fear. I'm a prisoner of hope, bound by my faith, chained to your love, locked up in grace. I'm free to leave, but I'll never go. I'm wonderfully, willingly, freely a prisoner of hope.
Some people doubt what they don't understand, but I know what's true in my heart.
Now I can't control what's out of my hands, but I can lay back in your arms. I'm a prisoner of hope, bound by my faith, chained to your love, locked up in grace. I'm free to leave, but I'll never go. I'm wonderfully, willingly, freely a prisoner of hope. I'm a prisoner of hope, bound by my faith, chained to your love, locked up in grace. I'm free to leave, but I'll never go. I'm wonderfully, willingly, freely a prisoner of hope.
Bound by my faith, chained to your love, locked up in grace.
I'm free to leave, but I'll never go. I'm wonderfully, willingly, freely a prisoner of hope.
Ok, vamos a tener a continuación, como antes lo mencionamos, el GPA, el promedio acumulado de calificaciones durante los años de high school, esto quiere decir desde el noveno hasta el 12º grado, es reconocido como el Grade Point Average, el GPA. Cada año, la Escuela Cristiana Betel escoge a los estudiantes de Senior Class que han obtenido los 2 más altos GPA. Dependiendo cuál sea su promedio, el GPA final determina si los estudiantes son merecedores a los reconocimientos conocidos como Valedictorian and Salutatorian. Este año, los 2 de nuestros graduados han obtenido el promedio necesario para poder recibir ciertos títulos. Este año, el reconocimiento de Salutatorian con un GPA de 3.25 es otorgado a la estudiante Rebeca Cerón Por favor de pasar a la plataforma.
Good evening, teachers, classmates, parents, faculty, and sisters, and brothers, and cousins, and grandparents. Somehow someone is always forgotten. I am honored to be given the privilege of speaking to you this graduation night of 2018. However, this speech is meant for the future classes of 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and so on and so forth. There isn't much that I can tell many adults here about high school that you haven't already lived yourself or seen your kids live. Fortunately, adults are not the only ones in attendance, and I hope to have every elementary school's attention, as well as every high schooler's. Because I remember sitting exactly where you are now, seeing graduates walk across the stage, and I remember thinking, that's so far away. But I promise you it isn't. Administration asked me to write a speech about my 4 years of high school, but before I tell you about those, I thought I'd start with a bit of background. See, my story doesn't start with me. It begins with my great-grandfather, who moved his family to Mexico City in search of a better life. It goes on with my own grandmother, who worked for the advancement of her 5 children after my grandfather's passing when my mom was only 9 years old. It continues with my own parents, who earned degrees in their fields and emigrated to Arlington Heights, Illinois, Antarctica, the United States. Seriously though, you couldn't have picked a warmer climate or something? No? Okay. I wasn't yet born when my mom realized that she didn't want my older sister growing up in a public school, speaking a language she didn't understand, and going to birthday parties with people that she didn't know. And so, like any excellent Mexican mother would do, she got a job to pay for her daughter to go to kindergarten at Christian Liberty Academy and learned English right along with her. When I came along 3 years later, she got 3 jobs as a Spanish tutor, a babysitter, and a secretary. A word of advice: don't ever tell a Mexican mother that you can't. It's Mexican, not Mexicanot. Because of that amazing woman, I stand before you today, a bookworm, an artist, and Christian salutatorian. Merriam-Webster defines salutatorian as the student who ranks second highest in a graduating class and delivers the salutatory. In other words, I am the first loser, and my GPA qualifies the title. As a freshman transfer, I remember feeling new and out of place, even though I was well acquainted with everyone in my class because I had been going to church with them for years. I remember missing my best friend, who had stayed at my former school so much I would go to the washroom just to cry. I remember getting lower grades and crying about that too, even though I had just switched schools and the academics had gotten significantly more difficult. I remember feeling like a disappointment. A failure even, because it must have been the 12th time that I had read that algebra chapter, and I still didn't get it. I had the best grades of my high school career as a freshman. Disclaimer, this is not to say your mental health is less important than your GPA, but I'm just saying there will be many tears if there is any effort. I'm here to tell you that that feeling that you'll get, it is disappointment, and it can be failure. But if you're anything like me, it's also a challenge. You see, I've been a warrior. I've been a warrior. We're all warriors our whole lives. Everyone is, just in different ways. It is not about the test that you failed today, but it is about tomorrow's quiz you'll study for tonight. Failure does not mean that you cannot get back up. It is a challenge, and it is a dare that you will. Remember that being the best at something is not a prerequisite to doing anything. As our pastor says, it is not a sin to be dumb, but it is a sin to stay dumb. To any of you who may be struggling in whatever subject or part of your life, it is not a sin, but when you quit, that is a sin. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Philippians 4:8. We are meant for so much good in this one life of ours. You will touch people's lives for a couple years and think you'll be with them forever, and then you won't. People make mistakes. People will hurt you. You will make mistakes and you will hurt others. But this is when you make that choice. Am I going to focus on everything I can't control, or am I going to focus on my thoughts and my actions that I can control? Do not underestimate your power over your own life. All those songs you think you relate to talking about the lows of life, they're right, because there will be many, many lows. However, the only thing that will truly save you is how tight you hold on to anything that is true, honest, just, pure, lovely, and of good report. If high school has taught me anything, it is that happiness is a choice. It is not a circumstance. Life is like a wild horse. You ride it, or it rides you. Do not allow yourself or your ambitions to be oppressed by your academic or your financial limitations. There have been others with less than you who have gone farther than you ever will if you don't even try. Many of us here are children of brave, determined immigrants. We are living the American dream. Remember that we all have a purpose, and that is one of our many advantages as Christians. No one here has to wonder why the universe put them here or why they were given the family that they were. For I know the thoughts I think toward you, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Jeremiah 29:11. Every circumstance, good and bad, means hope. I'd like to thank some special people who really played a big part in my high school career. Lizzie Serrato, you're the reason I came to BCS in the first place. Thank you. Damaris, for being an unbiological sister to me, for making me laugh endlessly and harmonizing so well with me. Israel Serrato, for being the real MVP since day one. Seriously, like the day I was born. Ernesto Severio, for being someone I can always count on and encouraging me without fail. Nani, for being the best sister anyone could ever ask for always being open with me and treating me like an adult, and even when I wasn't necessarily acting like one. Preacher, for always being available to us and dedicating your life to this and to God's service. I wouldn't be here, perhaps, if it wasn't for you. Thank you. You've been a great example to me, and I will always admire and will never forget your and Hermana Martha's selflessness. To my teacher, Mrs. Gonzalez, for always reminding me about the details. Without you, I would have forgotten a great many things. To my dad, for teaching me hard work. To anyone who taught me lessons like patience and positivity and how to be a good human. And Mommy, anything I have been, all that I am now, everything I ever will be, I owe to God, but it's because of you. Because of you, I got to have the education I have. Because of you, you helped me develop my talents. And because of you, I was able to learn that it's the little things in life that matter. And you kept me positive in so many times, in so many ways. Thank you. I thank God for giving me the most perfect life I ever could have imagined, and for his grace that leads me through it all, for his unfailing love that I would be lost without. Remember that high school is only a 4-year chapter in our lives. Many say, your college friends know who you are, but your high school friends know why. And I couldn't agree more with that statement. I am so proud to have gone to high school here these 4 years and to know every brilliant, hilarious, quiet person in my class, and finally, to be a graduate of Battelle Christian School. Congratulations to us, class of 2019. We're out of here.
Ok, a continuación tenemos el segundo reconocimiento. I'm so sorry. It's a little bit hard, this graduation for me, as you can see. El siguiente reconocimiento que la escuela otorga es el valedictorian con un GPA de 3.85 es otorgado al estudiante Israel Cerrato. Por favor, pasar a la plataforma.
Now I feel bad. My speech pales in comparison. 12 years ago, as the only boy of my class, I was wearing my Humpty Dumpty costume, moderately cartwheeling down the auditorium of Northwest Bible Baptist Church the night of my kindergarten graduation. Yes, I truly did do cartwheels down the aisle. I almost puked. But I am more than humbled to stand before you today in a cap and gown and still graduating as the only boy of my class. God really does have a sense of humor. What I would like to share with you today isn't an uplifting speech of the troubles I passed through high school, but of the amazing God who brought me through it. During the second week of this school year, after we had excellently arrived on time for class, me specifically, Mrs. Gonzalez commenced the day with her customary prayer and words of encouragement. Having slept a few hours from an intense, eye-catching motion picture, also known as NCIS Season 5, I was justifiably tired and struggled to stay awake. However, as she kept speaking, one particular statement from Psalms was searing my mind. "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good." Through biblical anecdotes and personal exemplums, she illustrated that with God, all things are possible. David conquering Goliath, Moses splitting the Red Sea, and Queen Esther saving the Jews were all mentioned that Monday morning. She stressed that if we were to follow his will and to live righteously for him as best we can, we could have a taste of his love, goodness, and blessings. Ultimately, she challenged us to savor God's grace for ourselves by utilizing our own lives to experience his love personally. At that time, I was optimistic. I had never considered that psalm, and I knew that from that point on, I would do my best to taste God's goodness for my life and to seek his will for me. I understood that through hard work, I could one day find his blessings and witness what he could do for my life. I was wrong. Looking back at my early years of education, I could see God's providence working in my life. From pre-K to 5th grade, I attended Northwest Baptist Academy. My elementary years were somewhat caustic, but a strict sense of character and discipline was instilled in me in that time. Today, my parents and sisters are always reminding me of how stubborn I am. Obviously, they're misguided. But on the off chance that I am, I wholeheartedly believe that I would have grown to be more stubborn and rebellious had I never attended NBA. Though I didn't understand some of the rules or disciplinary actions, I learned to exercise self-control and character. Another example of God's mighty hand occurred to me when I switched schools. From 6th to 7th grade, I attended Schaumburg Christian School. The change was abrupt, unexpected, and life-altering. I was young, impressionable, and shy. However, through the friendships I made at SES, I was able to, for the first time, open my eyes to a world around me and explore talents and subjects that really caught my interest. The students I met were passionate individuals who were remarkably gifted. Through God's benevolence, I not only learned fundamentals that will help me succeed in life, but I also expanded my interests while building lasting relationships. I also see God's providence through the different school activities I experienced. Here at BCS, we would take time once a year to withdraw from our tiresome studies to relax and seek a closer walk with God, also known as the Winter Retreat. The Winter Retreat has embedded memories in me that have increased my faith and helped me to persevere. The most striking memories are not composed of all the times we went tubing down Camp Joy's monstrous hill, barely avoiding death as we plummeted down at incredible speeds, or all the activities we had at the gymnasium. But we will always remember those nights in the fireside room. I believe we will all remember those precious nights we stayed up praising God. We weren't individuals unanimously worried about the tests or exams we had in the upcoming week, but one congregation, together, in sync. Also, I fondly remember the time we all competed in the IACS tournament and won. It was BCS's first year attending the IACS competition, and since it was already my third year competing, I thought I should try something new and explore photography. Sure. Making a long story short, I enlisted under landscapes and architecture photography, forgot that I enrolled in the competition, and continued to cruise by my junior year under bliss and procrastination while the due date was quickly approaching. A day before the competition in Manaida assembled me and a few other procrastinators to ask us for our material. Within minutes, her expression changed from excitement to disappointment and worry, as she realized that none of us had any of our work that was due the very next day. Since it was our first year in the fine arts, we simply could not show up empty-handed, and she continued to remind us of the importance of being responsible. She kicked us out of school to get our work done. Me and two other procrastinators that were in the same category quickly called our parents, and we went to downtown Elgin to find the scenery we needed for our photographs. In a matter of hours, we took mediocre pictures, printed them out, and turned them in the next day. Imagine my surprise 2 days later, after the competition had ended, when I heard my name being called out during the award ceremony, announcing that my piece won runner-up in state. Undoubtedly, through the activities here at BCS, I could see God's hand move in unbelievable ways. Finally, I could see God's providence in the friends and family that He gave me. Just kidding. I am thankful for both my parents, who have loved me unconditionally and fully, mostly because they had to. But I thank them for the countless hours of hard work and dedication it took for them to enroll me in a Christian school. Though times grew tougher and school's tuition grew higher, my father never once required me to work for my education or considered sending me to a public school. Whenever our finances were dwindling, they would find more hours to work or would budget our money better. They say that beside every senior is a pillar of strength. In my case, I had a pilar cerrato of strength. I am definitely not a scientist, and all of my science project failures would not have been winning failures if it hadn't been for my peeps. I would also like to thank my tia Laura, who have always believed in me and acted as a second mom for me. I know I'm not her son, but I'm a close second after Brian and before Aaron. High school is already hard enough with crippling anxiety and low self-esteem, but without my family and closest friends, it would have been far worse. Lizzie and Damaris, you both make my life so difficult. But I wouldn't trade you for any others, but just get along. Would it kill you? Hermana Ida, I'd like to thank you for being so gracious and caring with each and every one of us. Becky, thank you for being my womb mate. Preacher and Hermana Marta, you have both given your lives for others, and I could not thank you enough for opening the Christian school and seeing a vision far beyond us. I'm happy and honored to be graduating from a ministry of Iglesia Bautista Betel, a church that, through God's grace, you saw through. I was wrong. When Mrs. Gonzalez instructed us to taste and see that the Lord was good, she wasn't challenging us to start off our year seeking what God can do for us. Instead, she was advising us to look back on everything that God has already done for us, to call to remembrance everything that brought us this far. For me, senior year wasn't just preparing for college, but it was the conclusion of a chapter in my life with a greater meaning. I didn't have to taste and see God's work through my life. I had already experienced it. As I conclude high school, I'd like to challenge you guests, family, friends, and to all of you students watching, to taste and see that the Lord is good.
Bueno, ellos son nuestros seniors y se les da oportunidad de hablar por el título que acaban de ganar. A continuación tenemos a la hermana Susana. Ella fue su maestra durante la mayor parte de su high school y ella les viene a dar unas palabras a ustedes.
Well, what a privilege it has been. Let me take this. There we go. To teach you these past couple of years. Over this short time, I've seen you grow and mature into a fine young man and a fine young lady. I realize that there have been many other people over the years who've instructed you and helped you to get you to this point. Yet now, Even though you are about to embark on a new portion of your life's journey, the same biblical truths that you have been taught and learned and applied up until this time in your life are the same ones that are going to get you through the rest of your life. The trials that you have faced in the past will seem small compared to the battles that you will face in the future, but God will help you overcome them all. The people that have helped you in the past might not be there for you in the future, but God will give you those who can help you in the exact time that you need it the most. And when it feels like you're all alone, and it feels like you have nowhere to turn, and all hope is truly lost, turn to the only one who hears every word and sees every tear. Turn to God. When you get sick for the first time away from home, remember, God knows. He's there for you, and Mom is only a call away. When you fail that exam, turn to Him to help you on the next one. When your heart is breaking, take it to the great physician and let Him heal it and put it back together. When you are so broken that words cannot even be uttered, remember that there is one that is interceding for you and will get you through it and give you a peace that passeth all understanding. Remember that wherever you go, whatever task God has for you to do, always put Him first, because if you do, He will pour out His blessings upon you, and all these things shall be added unto you. I'm so proud of you and what you have accomplished. I look forward to seeing the great things that God has planned for you as you stay close to Him, keep your eyes upon Him, and seek His face continually.
Gracias, hermana Susana. A continuación tenemos un video de los graduados. Les invito a que lo veamos.
Train up a child in the way that is right, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. No matter how far gone a person may be, someone that has had a good Christian foundation will always and forever remember that foundation in their lives. And going to Christian school my entire life, I can testify that Christian schools are not perfect. The people that teach in Christian schools are not perfect. The kids that go to Christian schools are not perfect. But if Christian schools are not perfect, how much worse are public schools? So to be able to give your child that opportunity to seek the Lord, to grow up in the way that is right, without an influence of a different teacher saying, oh, well, I don't believe that that's right, and coming under fire even when you're 7 years old, I don't think I would have been able to withstand that amount of pressure. And hats off, my hat goes off, and I bow my head to truly people who were able to stand firm in public schools. I have a deep respect for every single one of you, and I hope to be as firm as you are whenever I have to confront that personal peer pressure and standard whenever I get to that point, because it comes for all of us. I believe that will truly give your child a good foundation in the purpose that he is finding for his own life. Christian school will give your child an opportunity to find out what it is that God wants for his life. Not that he wants to do with his life, but what God wants him to do with his life, what he was put on this earth to do. It saves so much. It saves depression. It saves unhappiness, ungratefulness, for a life. If you realize that you have a purpose in this life, which is truly the main goal of Christian education, it is serving God with your own talents and finding out your own talents and your own purposes and interests for God's glory, then you are able to develop those for God's glory and truly be happy and thankful and grateful for the life that God has given you.
Not at all. No, but with all the subjects that I've taken, they have been very hard, especially with the video school Becca, they have been very rigorous and very tiresome sometimes. There were many nights back in freshman, sophomore, and junior year where I would have to sleep at 2 a.m. every night, and my mom would question me, and she would always scold me as to why I'm sleeping so late. I'm like, Mom, I have to study. I have quizzes and I have things that are due, and I can't just not turn them in. So what I feel very academically prepared, but I also feel that Christian education really did influence so much in my character, in that I was able to learn how to work hard, work diligently, and turn all my assignments in on time.
I believe that weekly chapel and daily Bible classes truly strengthened my personal beliefs and everything that I have learned all throughout my 13 years, and I think even 14 years of Christian education. Not only in a way that I believe just because I have been taught this, but because I truly have thought about the questions and everything that others in the world have asked me. I truly believe them all. I love the fact that all of these Bible foundations have given me a way to explore my own and reaffirm my own spirituality with God, and they have given me examples and ways that if I ever find myself so far gone, or if I ever find myself lost in any way, shape, or form, that I am able to come back to what I believe is to what I know to be right, because of the foundation that I have been given.
What I enjoyed most about having a Christian education is that all of our classes, especially in Bible, weren't biased toward just one specific belief. Each of them proclaimed God, and they all pointed to the cross, but yet they weren't just biased on that. They also presented other views, and it basically reaffirmed my faith, but also gave me a good understanding of what other people believe.
My most fond memories of winter retreat were definitely the bus rides on the way there. I remember just talking and having really good friendship time with Damaris Serrato, a very big influence on my life in high school, as well as Lizzie Serrato in my first 2 years. Worship times was completely amazing. They allowed us to feel connected with God. I truly felt the presence of God in those worship times, and really every person from 9th grade to 12th grade, you could feel everyone connected. I have a particularly favorite memory that I was in junior year, and I actually stayed up singing with Damaris Serrato and 2 other girls in my cabin. We were singing until 5 o'clock in the morning, and I still have recordings of those times where we sang hymns all night long, and we got to enjoy every fellowship time with each other and with God.
Mr. White, back from Schaumburg Christian School, he really did help me. He really cared about each individual student that he was teaching, and at the time he was teaching me trumpet, so I really did learn a lot from him, and especially because when I left from 5th grade, I knew barely anything about the trumpet, like very low from the basics. I think that's all that I knew. So then after that, and after transferring to Schaumburg Christian, he really did instill in me a passion for trumpet, and he really did teach me a lot.
I was able to develop personal relationships with my family. I remember my mom took me out of traditional school because she was afraid that I was being influenced by so many others and I wasn't spending enough time with her. So she took her entire year off of work to come and to teach me personally in every way that I could be taught. And I believe that that truly gave me a good foundation for the rest of my life, things that I would not have learned had I not been in that one homeschooling year. Endless conversations with my mom, even just learning things about even cooking or truly being able to be tutored in English and mathematics in a way, in a personal level that in a traditional school you wouldn't be able to have with a regular teacher. Traditional school will help you in interpersonal skills, and I believe that I have pretty much excelled at those.
We got to serve together.
Yes. Thank you, Brother Melvin, for joining our forces, and because we probably wouldn't have done it on our own. Thank you for that. Only God knows that we really got through high school, that I never thought that I would be graduating just with this kid.
I never thought that I'd be graduating with Becky like at all.
I never thought
if
that
I'm
at
being
all.
honest.
Yeah, I didn't believe that for 1 second. Yet here we are.
Graduate 2018.
Bye!
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming, class of 2018.
It's okay. Is it off yet?
Espero estén disfrutando esta ceremonia lo mismo que todos nosotros estamos aquí disfrutando. A continuación tendremos un grupo musical. Cada generación de graduados de nuestra escuela es representada por lo menos por un integrante de este grupo conocido como BCS Alumni. Ellos nos traerán el siguiente especial musical junto con nuestros graduados del día de hoy.
Mis días vi pasar, la vida los llevó. Mi deseo era seguir a Dios, mas yo fui débil e incapaz.
Buscaba la manera de ganarme la salvación, mas iba a encontrar que todo intento es vanidad. Sin la gracia de Dios, sé dónde estaría yo, vagando por caminos inmundos, sin encontrar la salvación. No quiero ni pensar, la vida enfrentar, siempre corriendo sin nada alcanzar, sin la gracia de Dios. Por eso canto hoy de todo corazón.
quiero ni pensar.
No quiero ni pensar la vida enfrentar. Siempre corriendo sin nada alcanzar, sin la gracia de su gran bondad. Gracia, gracia, gracia más grande que mi maldad. Sin la gracia de Dios, sin la gracia de Dios, sé dónde estaría yo, vagando por caminos sin rumbo, sin encontrar la salvación. No quiero ni pensar, no quiero ni pensar la vida enfrentar. Siempre corriendo sin nada alcanzar, sin la gracia de Dios. Siempre corriendo sin nada alcanzar, sin la gracia de Dios. Adiós sea la gloria, adiós sea la gloria, adiós sea la gloria por lo hecho en mí. Quiero vivir mi vida, que sea a ti, oh Dios, un placer, y así dar el honor al que al Calvario fue por mí. A ti, Señor Jesús, la gloria. A ti dedico todo lo que soy, y a tu trono llegue la alabanza que sale de mi corazón. Que a tu trono llegue la alabanza que sale de mi corazón.
Y así es, que a Él sea la gloria. Creo que tuve oportunidad de llorar mucho, ¿verdad? Apenas cuando estaban practicando, ¿verdad? Pero así es. Y eso es todo lo que hacemos en la escuela, darle la gloria a Él. Bueno, este es el momento más importante de nuestra ceremonia. Y en este momento tendremos la entrega de los diplomas. Les voy a pedir a los estudiantes, a los seniors, si se ponen de pie, por favor. Y pueden pasar a la plataforma a recibir sus diplomas cuando llame su nombre. La primera estudiante, ella ha aplicado a Pensacola Christian College, ha sido aceptada en el major de Pre-Law, la estudiante Rebeca Cerón. Nuestro siguiente estudiante también ha aplicado en Pensacola Christian College, ha sido aceptado también con su major de pre-law, el estudiante Israel Cerrato. Si se pudieran poner de pie, por favor. Queridos hermanos, es para mí un gozo y un privilegio presentarles a la generación de graduados de la Escuela Cristiana Betel, generación 2018.
Bueno, es mucho trabajo de parte de los padres, de parte de maestros, la iglesia, pero vale la pena. Yo mirando a todos ellos ahí cantando y dije, Señor, sin tu gracia, ¿dónde estuviéramos? Y qué bueno, da gracias por darnos el privilegio de tener una escuela cristiana donde ellos puedan estarte alabando y no donde te están maldiciendo, donde tú eres honrado, no donde tú eres burlado. Y gracias a Dios por nuestra escuela cristiana. Y gracias a Dios por estos dos jóvenes. Los dos estudiando para abogados. Les dije, estudien bien, que algún día de esto van a necesitar un abogado y a lo mejor me pueden ayudar. Gloria a Dios por nuestros jóvenes. Oren por ellos y por los demás. Y padres, si los tuyos son pequeñitos, no espere a high school a ponerlos. Empieza. Esos cimientos. Yo creo que el tiempo es pre-kinder. Y ahí, para que vayan cogiendo toda esa educación, toda su vida. Es un sacrificio, es un trabajo, cuesta, pero vale la pena. All right. Todos de pies, por favor, todos de pies. Para terminar, vamos a tener un momento de oración y entonces vamos a ser despedidos para que puedan saludar a los graduados y los padres. Los felicito por unos tremendos hijos ahí. Oremos, por favor, en estos momentos para ser despedidos. Hermano Carlos, gracias como pastor de jóvenes por todo el esfuerzo y trabajo con ellos por todos estos años. Una mano para el hermano Carlos, amén. Gracias a él por eso. Y gracias, hermana Aida, por la escuela. Gracias, hermana Susana, por ser la maestra de high school, todo high school. Ahí ellas, gracias a todos estos y todos los que trabajan. Yari, que trabaja con nosotros, este es su último año aquí sirviendo, otros planes, pero gracias a Dios por ella y todos los que trabajan. Gracias. Los sarmientos que limpian la escuela todos los días. Gracias por ello. Y tantos, muchísimas gracias. Despiden una oración, hermano Carlos, por favor.
Vamos a orar. Señor, gracias te damos por este día. Gracias, Señor, por este día tan especial para Israel, para Becky. Te pedimos, Señor, que tú los guíes, Señor, ahora en su camino después de high school. Gracias por hasta donde los has llevado hasta ahora, Señor, pero te pedimos que tú les ayudes y sigas siendo, Señor, número uno en sus vidas. Y como ellos cantaban, Señor, que toda la gloria en sus vidas, que todo lo que ellos sean, Señor, te lo puedan entregar una vez más a ti. Gracias, Señor, por nuestros jóvenes. Bendice ahora, esta noche, quédate con nosotros, en el nombre de Cristo. Amén.